friends, and welcome to episode 93 of Did You Bring the Hummus podcast. I'm Kimberly, your host, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. Did You Bring the Hummus is a podcast for all things vegan. Episodes post every Monday on your favorite podcast app. Before we get started, I have one very important question for you. Did you bring the hummus? Do you love the podcast? Would you get a kick out of hearing a shout out on a future episode? How about time to connect virtually with me and other listeners quarterly or monthly? Or if you're a vegan business who would like to sponsor episodes of Did You Bring the Hummus? I'd love to chat. Find out more under the Support the Podcast tab on my website. I've started offering meditation sessions over Zoom again. As of the publishing of this episode, they take place on alternating Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Sign-up options include individual sessions at $11, a monthly subscription for $40, or a 10-session package good for 6 months for $101 US dollars. Thinking about embarking on your own vegan journey? Book a free call with me to find out how my 12-week vegan voyage program can help. Today, I am joined by Dr. Gina Nick. Dr. Gina is a world-renowned naturopathic physician, researcher, and formulator based in Newport Beach, California. With a dedication to holistic wellness, she's known for her expertise in treating a wide range of health concerns, from autoimmune diseases to addiction recovery, anxiety, and more. As a published author, entrepreneur, and certified yoga instructor, Dr. Gina is a multifaceted professional with a passion for improving the lives of others. With her unwavering commitment to nurturing health naturally, she's not just your typical medical professional. Dr. Gina is a nurturing soul, a devoted mom, and an advocate for holistic well-being. She's licensed in both California and Hawaii. Dr. Gina shares her vegan journey, helps us understand what glutathione is and why we should be paying attention to it, her dreams for an animal sanctuary, which also offers moms and their children a place to heal. Hey, Dr. Gina, welcome. Thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you, Kimberly, for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Me too. This is going to be great. So as we always start at Did You Bring the Hummus, share with me your vegan journey.
My vegan journey. Gosh, I was raised, my mother is from Egypt. And so I was raised with like that Mediterranean diet anyway.
Okay.
And so part of me thinks it's just genetic predisposition, right? I never really liked meat. I didn't like it. And so I would kind of avoid it. And then over the years, I became educated and, took a deep dive into nutrition and the role the nutrition plays in health, even from my undergrad years. Or even, that started in high school. I started researching nutrition and really learned a lot. I happen to be an animal lover. And so besides the health side of it, there's just, I'm an animal lover, and so there's that. But, I've gone through phases. And even in my practice, I don't advocate veganism for everybody. That's not what I'm here for, and I see there's certain instances where one diet may be better than another diet for certain patients, but in general, it just kind of happened over time where I would try having some meat and it didn't really do anything for me. And I'm exposed to all the different wellness experts out there, right? And they all have opinions. Yeah. And there's some that are like, you're harming the planet by being a vegan, or, and here's why, or you're doing a disservice to your hormonal system and your adrenal glands by being a vegan, and here's why. And I'll tell you, like, I don't feel like there's one perfect diet for everybody. I don't. And there's biochemical individuality and all of that. But my journey, I feel like it started with just genetic predisposition and being raised with the Mediterranean lifestyle into terms of foods. I was introduced to lots of fruits and vegetables, and I like them from a young age, and so I just didn't rely as much on animal protein. My mom didn't eat it. She would say, my dad would this is funny. My dad would say, would eat. He was from New York, just born and raised, white as white can be, and he loved, meat, and he would have coffee and meat. and my mother would make it for him, and she referred to it, this is horrible, but I'll never forget, dead meat and dirty water.
She knew.
Meat and dirty. And it was like, it was so innocent on her part. She wasn't, it was just like, to her, based on how she was raised and what made sense intuitively to her, she's looking at this going, okay, if this is what you want, I love you, I'll make it for you. But
Yeah.
that looks like dead meat and dirty water to me. So that's what I was raised with. So it wasn't a hard leap, to, and I really go with what I genuinely crave, so I wouldn't, if my body was like, no, you absolutely need meat right now, I wouldn't, I wouldn't block that just because of my journey in terms of treating a lot of people for health conditions and stuff. I'm always saying, get to your own intuitive sense and work with that, number one,
Yeah.
So that's that's kind of how I got here.
So you're an animal lover, right? And so how does the veganism piece come in your own life? Like understanding, of course, as a doctor, and I've interviewed other doctors where, depending on where they work or who they work with, they have that same approach where they're like, we're going to figure out what's best for you and not bring my, values or ethics into it. And then other doctors are like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
And if you're not interested in that, here are some other doctors that can help you if you're not ready to be fully plant-based or whole food plant-based or, whatever. So how, in your own personal journey, like how does the veganism tie in?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me say, so with my, so I advocate for whole food, plant-based diet. That's just like what and so, but I don't judge, like, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is what, and most of my patients will say, well, what do you eat? I want to know exactly what you do, and so
Right.
I share that.
Okay.
And and at the same time, I don't, I don't reprimand them for if they're not on that journey, and that's okay. Everybody has their right to do what they're going to do. In my personal life, I mean, I don't, I do not like seeing any animal harmed.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen enough documentaries on how cattle are raised and cared for and how just animals in general. It's like I can't stomach it. It is really that simple for me. I mean, even my daughter, she's 12, and she's like, mom, it's whatever it is. It's a caterpillar, like relax. But to me, I've always loved animals. My mother always said I would end up, on a ranch somewhere with every animal under the sun, and for sure have an animal sanctuary, which I'm working on right
Awesome.
now. That's one of my visions. Yeah.
Mm.
And my daughter is very much on board with that, but it is having an animal sanctuary. So I just have this space in my heart for the animal kingdom, and that's that. So in my own life, that's who I am. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That I imagine though that when you have those deep feelings and then you also have this profession where you can't always be like, come on, just do this. And you have to, I imagine there are probably conversations where a patient, that they're not interested in plants as their main staple. And they're asking for advice and like, how is this, is chicken healthier for me than fish or whatever? How do you deal with that? How do you separate Dr. Gina from Gina?
Well, they're one and the same.
Mhm.
And so again, it goes back to my the way I'm able to educate and inspire and transform others, if that's what's in their best and highest good for me to help do that, is by doing what I do and how I lived day to day. So there isn't a difference, and I do, and I truly, and so for me, it's about what am I doing?
Mhm.
And being a demonstration, a representation of that. And if I do that well, I feel I'll influence more people than just saying you shouldn't eat meat or how dare you harm this animal. I
Mhm.
feel, for me, when I've looked at the whole scene and the political side of it and just the world as it is, that's what's most makes most sense to me, is
Mhm.
start at home and again, have an animal sanctuary and be very
Mhm.
dedicated to that. And, and I formulate nutritional supplements. And so a percentage of the sales of those supplements going towards the building of the animal sanctuary. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
So it's not, I don't feel divided. Like I have
Okay.
to act
Yeah.
one way. Um, when I'm dealing with colleagues who
Mhm.
are very, very outspoken, who I respect, and and I will listen. I'm always open. I'll listen. I don't like openly announce, who I am, what I do. If they ask questions, I share it.
Mhm.
And then I just am I just kind of go about my business.
Yeah.
So I would say it's more of a challenge when I'm just interacting with colleagues who
Mm.
are, very outspoken and very popular in the wellness world.
Mm.
But I am who I am. And
Yeah.
so that's how I approach it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And, you know, um, I have that strong connection to animals and not wanting animals to be harmed and, wishing that everyone in the world could just be vegan overnight. And wouldn't that just be amazing? But I understand people too, and how resistant we can be if someone is really pushing. For the most part, like there are some people who need that. Like they respond immediately to a graphic or a description or hey, this is what you're contributing to, and like being really stern about it. But I think most of us don't. Most of us are like, hey, you want to know what I'm doing? This is what I'm doing. And then they're like, okay, tell me more about that. And then they get curious and you can kind of talk through things with them.
I mean, as much as it's hard to see the graphics, Kimberly, I think that
Mhm.
it's important.
Yeah,
I think it is absolutely important because a lot of people don't know.
right.
It's what, my own daughter, she has some pretty strong opinions about animals and I know for her seeing that the harm done
Mhm.
impacts her decisions, and
Yeah.
I don't force a specific diet upon her. She
Mhm.
watches me, right? Mom
Mhm.
representing, right? They're always
Yep.
watching us. But beyond that, I don't, force her to be vegan or anything like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I know the impact that those images have on kids and adults. And
Mhm.
so I think it's important. I think more documentaries coming out on the way the animals are treated
Mhm.
and what's really happening out there. If we cut out, and just kind of stuck with, okay, if you like have your own farm and hunt and eat what you hunt what you eat for your family, and it's in a humane way from your perspective and all that. That's different than like the mass harm and
Mhm.
abuse
Yeah.
done to animals in order to feed the masses
Right.
with super unhealthy
Mhm.
animal products.
Yeah.
Super unhealthy, when
Mhm.
they're pumped full of antibiotics and they're kept in these cages. I mean, that's not healthy. That's not
Right.
healthy protein anyway,
Mhm. Right.
And so yeah, I think we need more education out there and
Mhm.
more people. I'm not that person,
Yeah.
right? But I
Right.
honor people who are out there in a just sharing the facts,
Mhm.
sharing what's really happening, and giving animals that voice.
Yeah.
They're living, breathing creatures with, like they are uh, super sensitive and aware, and they're being abused.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what did it for me. I read an issue of PETA's Animal Times and saw photos, read what was happening, and I was like, "Okay, can't be part of that anymore."
yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
it is super powerful. Um, yeah. You mentioned very briefly that you have developed a nutritional supplement, and I have tried these, and they taste amazing.
Yay.
Yeah, so
Yay.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Like, maybe you need to
Mhm,
start before that, but let's get to the point where how do you come up with this idea? How do you pull
mhm.
it all together and share like the benefits and stuff?
No. So I've always had a fascination with formulating nutritional supplements.
Mm.
I love it. I love it. I'm a naturopathic physician by training. And so we're taught about all of the different nutrients and herbs and how to combine them. So I have professional training in that area, but it just comes very naturally to me in terms of combining things together. I've been formulating supplements for the industry for 2 decades.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was the director of research at Standard Process Nutrition, which is one of the oldest nutritional supplement companies out there,
Hmm.
that caters to healthcare professionals. And so I've been doing this a long time. I formulate in my own practice, I'll formulate custom nutritional supplements for patients based on their lab work and their symptoms and all of that. And so it's something that comes very natural to me. I love it. It's like something I have to do. And my latest formula, which I love, it's my favorite one so far, is it's called Best Daily Ever. And it's based on, it's a glutathione based product.
Mm.
And I have used glutathione in my practice for years for helping to treat addiction. I've used it for detoxification from heavy metals, inflammation, autism, for a lot of different conditions.
Wow.
And one of the challenges always was when you take it, I'd have to inject it
Hmm.
is one way to give it, or there's liposomal forms that work. Normally, like a capsule form or powder form doesn't work. It's not bioavailable, so I wouldn't get the results I needed. So then there's this form called liposomal, which tastes gross. So I couldn't get children or adults to stay on it. I couldn't stay on it. I'd have it.
Oh.
I'd have this like amazing liposomal project. Intellectually, I knew it worked so
Mhm.
well. All the researchers behind it, but it was gross. I'm not going to take it.
Yeah.
And so my nephew, when he was born, he eventually he was diagnosed with autism. And I kept telling my sister, we've got to he needs glutathione. He
Mm.
needs glutathione. I knew it, but we couldn't figure out a way to give it to him. And so my sister reminds me today that was kind of the start of my
Yeah.
journey in
Hmm.
wanting to create a form of glutathione that was interesting and palatable and desirable for even kids to take.
Yeah.
And then I was hired by a company who makes glutathione to research their form
Ah,
that was proven through clinical research studies to be stable and bioavailable and work.
okay.
And so that's how I was introduced to the first, ingredient that was going to go into this formula.
Mhm.
And I saw what it was doing. I'm like, this is amazing. And then COVID hit, and I was homeschooling my daughter, going through all the things that lots of moms were dealing with and dads. And there was some research that came out showing that glutathione helped to prevent a severe reaction to COVID just because of its impact it was supporting the immune system,
Yeah.
in a big way. And I'm like, gosh, it would be so great to have a product that was supports kids' immune systems, that, little like something like a pixie stick they could put in their lunch, box. And if I knew my daughter was having that, I felt comfortable. At least she's got the basics. So that fast forward, I put together a formula one day. It was kind of one of those moments where I was like, that's it. I need to do this. We need to have this. And
Yeah.
I put glutathione and vitamin C and vitamin D3 and magnesium and zinc. And it's just a nice, well-rounded formula for immune support, but I wanted it to taste like a pixie stick, like candy, like what
Mhm.
I remembered taking as a kid, which is probably why I got into nutrition in the first place. And um, so the formula comes back from I sent it to the lab, get it back, and it tasted great right off the bat.
Ah,
And I
wow.
always say it was kind of divinely inspired because I didn't want to put sugar in it. And I woke up one morning and I'm like, I need to put glycine as the sweetener in this product. And glycine is an amino acid that vegans need,
Mm.
that is slightly sweet, that I've used to sweeten other patients' formulas in the past, but it happens to be one of the components of glutathione.
Oh.
So yeah, so it helps the body manufacture its own also. So it all just kind of came together. Got the
Yeah.
sample back. Neighborhood kids loved it. One of the neighborhood kids with this was really the best testimony ever. She she doesn't take anything. She's super picky. Her mom has tried to get her to take supplements, any form, and no, 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 no. And I know when she'd come over, I had to have very specific things in the fridge just for
Mm,
her, right? When
yeah.
and I had her try it, and she was like, this tastes better than a pixie stick. I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
okay, that's it. I'm moving forward with this.
Yep.
And then the rest is history. It took a good 3 years to get it to this point. But I'm excited about it now, though.
Yeah. That's so
Right.
cool. And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it does. It tastes really, really good. My husband's enjoyed them as well.
Good. Good,
Yeah,
good.
just jump in the water, shake it up. So tasty. Yeah.
And glycine, it's used for so many things. So glycine is a very calming amino acid. So it
Mm,
helps to calm the brain down. It increases GABA, which is a calming neurotransmitter. It helps with detoxification and kind of maintaining a good uh, environment in the gut in terms of good bacteria levels.
okay.
It also helps to stabilize blood sugar. It helps with weight loss and hunger. So
Mm,
it's got a lot of benefits, just glycine on its own.
yeah,
But
wow.
glutathione is like the mother of all antioxidants. It is the powerhouse antioxidant
Hmm.
uh, that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, tell me more about it because
Yeah.
until I met you, I have never heard of this.
See
Not that
that?
I'm
And
an
I'm like,
expert, but I've never heard of it.
Right, yeah, and you're in the nutrition world, and you eat and you're passionate about it, right, and
Mhm.
that's what I noticed. I mean, it's like such a long word, who's gonna remember glutathione, right?
Yeah.
It's a very clinical word.
Mhm.
It's not, and so I coined the phrase vitamin G
Ah,
because I'm like, "Okay, that's easier to remember," and it's
definitely.
essential. So glutathione is manufactured in every cell in your body, and it
Hmm.
is the most important detoxifying molecule. It's a tripeptide. It's a combination of 3 amino acids, but it's the most important one for detoxification
Mm,
and for protecting your cells from harm from toxins, be it heavy metals, pesticides, chemicals, toxins your own body produces
hmm.
in response to it fighting off infections. It is the one. There's a higher concentration in the liver, which is a main detoxification organ. So it's very helpful. The liver is very helpful in clearing hormones. So women in particular who are having challenges with hormone imbalance,
Mm,
glutathione is turning out to be very helpful. These pixie sticks, I didn't design them for women in like the perimenopause and menopausal phase, which could be 10 years long of like
mhm,
slow decline of hormones. But my patients and people now that we just launched, right? And so we're getting the
mhm.
feedback, but it's working great
Hmm.
for them. Things like when you're going through menopause, you can have issues with sleep, you can have issues with brain fog,
Mm,
hot flashes,
yeah.
weight. There's like the classic 10-pound weight gain. No matter
Mm.
what you do, it all of a sudden happens because of that hormone decline. And glutathione is very powerful at helping to balance all that out.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, it's just your body manufactures it on its own, but um, because of the volume of toxins that we're exposed to now, more so than ever before, the demand on our body for glutathione goes way up. And so that's why I'm like, you need to supplement with it to support your body's natural detoxification mechanisms. And as vegans, protein can be challenging. It can, and there are ways around it. But in general, well, not a lot of vegans can have amino acid deficiencies. And so if you're a vegan, I always recommend get tested. Get your lab test done for amino acids
Hmm.
because when you introduce any amino acids that your body's deficient in, it can be game changing in terms of inflammation, cognitive health, mood, energy levels,
Hmm.
all of it.
Yeah.
And so glutathione again is a combination of three peptides, three amino acids coming together. That it's it's the mother of all antioxidants,
I love
and it works with vitamin C. They kind of work together. And it's an antioxidant just like vitamin C, but I would say it's even more important.
that.
If
Hmm.
I was to pick one thing, if I only could, I mean, I love supplements and I'm a big advocate for taking the right nutritional supplements. If I
Mhm.
could pick like one thing to take,
Yeah.
it would be glutathione.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's so that's so interesting that
Mm.
that one, our bodies make it, that two, how beneficial it could be, and three, that nobody seems to know about it.
Yeah. There's over 100,000 clinical studies that have been
Hmm.
done on this molecule.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, I think referring to it as vitamin G may help.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
you're
my
onto
I want to
something.
make this a household name. I want
Yeah.
everybody to know about it. I want everybody to have access to it
Right.
because it can be so helpful for so many
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
For kids, we're getting feedback, if there's issues with constipation, it deals with that. Just
Mm.
random things that I wasn't focused on when I was formulating it.
Right.
Scratchy throat, you just take a
Mm.
pixie stick, it goes away, things like that,
Hmm.
So yeah, it's powerful. It's,
Yeah.
mhm.
And when you were talking about like things like the inflammation and stuff,
Yeah.
I was thinking about me myself, but also a lot of women I know are dealing with a thyroid imbalance. And
Yes.
I have all of those symptoms, and the weight is hard to get rid of. And then, at my age, I'm in my 40s, right? The doctor's like, "Oh, you may be like perimenopausal, but you also it might just be your thyroid. And so you can either take this medication where
Yeah.
you've got to be, tested regularly to make sure that your balance, your levels are right." So I wasn't ready to do that. So I
Yeah.
found a vegan supplement that's supposed to support getting that thyroid back on track. So
Yes.
how does like glutathione help if, with a thyroid? Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
question.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a wonderful question. So with thyroid, and I've done a lot of educating to pharmacists and physicians over the years on how to properly test for and treat thyroid imbalances.
Mm,
So I'm very happy to speak to this. Um, so with thyroid, oftentimes if you're exposed to toxins, and you're bogged down with them, that can be a cause for a thyroid hormone imbalance,
mm,
where the conversion of the thyroid hormone
mm.
into an active form where you actually experience the benefits of it is blocked.
Hmm,
So, like a heavy metal toxicity can impact your thyroid gland. Um, then there's the autoimmune component. So, sometimes you can have a low thyroid function, your labs can look semi-normal if the doctor didn't test for that specific autoimmune side of it, which is like something called TPO or
mm,
anti-TGB are the two things you would ask to be tested for. But when you have an autoimmune reaction to the thyroid, that can be triggered by exposure to toxins.
mm,
And that's where glutathione can really help a lot by getting to the underlying cause. When you start to detoxify and you support getting rid of those chemicals that are affecting your thyroid gland and not allowing it to work properly, it's amazing what can happen.
mm.
Suddenly there's more hormone balance. And it can impact other hormones too. Like you were saying, your doctor was like, well, maybe you're just, going into menopause or in that perimenopausal phase. Okay, but then but still does you don't have to deal with that. You don't have to, deal with whether it's weight gain or sleep disturbances or moodiness. All
Mhm,
of those things are just because your body's experiencing a decline in hormones doesn't mean you need to suffer,
mm.
and it's like, oh, that's just the way it is, which is what women
Yeah.
have been told forever. And that's
Mhm.
hogwash. It
Yeah.
is. So, and that's where glutathione helps with balancing hormones in
Okay.
addition to the thyroid gland. And the thyroid gland works with all the other hormones. It's part of the
Mhm.
whole system. So thyroid hormone is connected to cortisol and estrogen and testosterone and progesterone. So they all work together.
Hmm, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was something I didn't find out until my doctor was kind of like, "Well, it could be this or it could be that." She's like, "Because, the thyroid works with, your ovaries and all
Yeah.
that is connected." And I was like, "Oh, I had no idea." And then I started to talk about it, and I realized how many other women were being told that, their thyroid was off, or maybe they were developing an autoimmune condition, or maybe it's perimenopause. And it's kind of just like, it's a crapshoot and good luck. And by the way, don't talk about it. Women don't talk about what they go through in menopause. And I can't believe that that's still a thing.
It's ridiculous, and I mean, it's so silly. So women are amazing, and I'm very passionate about supporting women, especially in that age group, because you have a level of wisdom,
Mhm.
that comes with age. We all know that. But women are amazing. They're
Yeah.
amazing multitaskers, and they're generally caring for the home, and they're amazing leaders. And to just write off, a woman, well, you're going through menopause now, so you just have to deal with it and don't talk about it. If you feel moody, or you can't sleep, or you have hot flashes, or you're gaining weight, or you're not comfortable in your body, or you don't have a sex drive anymore, just,
Mhm.
be quiet about it. No, no, because
Right.
there's ways to deal with it, and you don't have to suffer at all.
Mhm. Yeah.
You don't. It's so, and I'm a big advocate for, yeah, at some point getting tested to know what your hormones are.
Mhm.
And then there's so many different options. As a vegan, sometimes I mentioned like protein deficiency can be an issue.
Hmm.
Even there's more of a risk for that. And so with that, that can impact hormone balance.
Hmm.
And so just getting enough protein. And I'm okay with, if it's a vegan protein powder, if you need to supplement with a vegan protein powder, I'm good with that, because just getting that boost in protein is going to make a big difference with your hormone balance
Hmm.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I read a thing, and I wonder if maybe you can tell me if this is true or not, that said that, like, during any meal, we can only process, like, 35 grams of protein. So, people who are going, like, "I'm gonna eat 300 grams of protein in this lunch," are really not helping themselves.
No, that's nuts. That's nuts. You don't need that much. No, like, be reasonable. Come on.
Right?
But I'm just saying, make sure you're getting that 30
Yeah.
grams or 30 plus grams, like, but no, I mean, you're going to burden your kidneys and your detox mechanisms by doing
Mhm.
that. And it's not necessary. It's not. And,
Yeah.
and you can absolutely, your body can extract, if you're healthy, and you're breaking down food
Mhm.
properly, your body can extract quite a good amount of protein from vegan foods.
Mhm.
You just have to be wise about it. And then if you need to, you test to see if you're protein deficient or if you have amino acid deficiencies, because those amino acids are so critical to
Mm.
everything. They
Yeah.
really are. And so, you know, test for and supplement with what you need to stay
Mhm.
healthy. And
Yeah.
you may not need to take hormones. You may not
Right.
need thyroid. If you do, then there are ways to deal with that too.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
mm,
That's really good to know, right? Because I think even today, despite all of the more wellness focused doctors and coaches and nutritionists that are out there, there is still so much of, like, just take a pill and be done with it.
yeah.
And then people feel like, "Oh, well, that's really the only thing. I can only take this medication to fix my hormone. I can only take this medication for my blood pressure." And it may not always be true for everyone. And then to feel like you have these opportunities, these options to explore other things, I think is important that people realize that.
Very important, because your body is always trying to heal itself.
Mhm. Yeah, what a great little
The
machine it is, right?
the body has the ability to heal itself. Give it what it needs,
Mhm.
and then remove barriers to cure. Remove the
Mm.
things that are blocking your body from being able to heal itself, right?
Hmm.
And so, whether it's a change in diet, lifestyle can be a huge part. Oftentimes, you're being given a medication, but really that should be like a last resort. Once you've dealt with some of the foundational things, diet, lifestyle,
Mhm.
hydration, stress level, those other things,
Yeah.
and so, because it's amazing what happens. Like, I put people on a 21-day purification program. I've been doing it for 20 years. And
Mm.
just in those 21 days, it's amazing what happens.
Yeah.
Amazing. All of a sudden the blood pressure medications drop, and the weight comes off, and mood improves, and you're thinking more clearly. Everything improves just
Mhm.
because you removed some of the barriers to cure, and we
Mm.
introduced what the body actually needs in terms of nutrients and supporting detoxification and making sure you're staying hydrated and
Mhm.
moving.
Yeah.
and stress management, you know.
Right. I love that. I have not heard anyone talk about to say it so clearly, remove the barriers that are getting in your way. I think so often it's like, okay, I've got to change how I eat, so let me make sure that my food plan is correct. But like, what else? Like, why haven't you done the food plan yet? What's getting in the way? What in your life, or what do you think about yourself even, that doesn't allow you to follow that food plan that maybe, your doctor gave you 6 months ago, and you're like, "Oh, I just
Yes.
can't. I haven't gotten to it yet." Like, why not? What's going on besides,
Yeah.
like, prepping the food and eating it?
Yes. And that's even when I put the purification program together, I was real adamant about having a journal as
Mm,
part of it. Right. And so you're journaling every single day and really getting connected with your own. I feel like at the end of the day, you know your body better than anybody else ever will.
yeah.
Get in touch with it. Get in
Mhm.
touch with yourself at that level. And journaling can be a very nice way to reconnect because we're
Mhm.
all so busy and
Yeah.
pulled in so many directions. But taking those few minutes at the end of every day or right when you wake up in the morning and just free writing and
Mhm.
just getting that information,
Yeah.
um, can be super helpful. It might be, oh, you just need to go spend some time in nature every day for 10 minutes, and just by doing that, instead of looking at your phone for
Oh,
those
yeah.
10 minutes, right? So that'd be removing a barrier to cure. That's a
Right.
huge barrier to cure, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, even just that might be a message you receive. And just by doing that, you can shift quite a bit
Mhm.
in a 3-week period if you stay consistent with it.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing and so inspiring. I think it can feel so big sometimes. And if we just kind of, like you said, turn inward and really
yes.
listen, we can find those little things that will make a huge difference.
Because and especially these days there's so much input, like do this diet, do this program, and like
Mhm.
I feel like we lose sight of how brilliant our bodies are.
Yeah.
The design of our bodies, like we have a lot of power
Mhm.
and knowledge
Yeah.
and wisdom. And I would always say, like, start there, and then that'll direct you to, "Ooh, I need to work with this person, or I need to do this," whatever it is, program.
Mhm.
But like, start with your own inner guidance
Yeah.
taking you there,
Yeah.
versus just because somebody publishes something entertaining on TikTok doesn't mean there's something wrong with you because you're not doing it, or that's going to work for you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's not get all of our nutritional information or guidance from TikTok. Fun videos for sure, but maybe not the experts we're really looking for. But speaking
Yeah.
of really listening to your intuition, I want to go back to the plan for the animal sanctuary. Um, and talk a little. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So this is a vision. It's a
Mm-hmm.
vision, but it's a strong vision. And so
Love.
it's tied to, it's not only an animal sanctuary, but also a healing retreat for mothers and their children.
Mm.
And so, and this is something that's kind of been forming over time. I started the Brain Health and Mental Wellness Foundation. And through that foundation, we're in the planning process. So this is more of, we're in that we're still in the visionary phase of things, but
Mm.
it's gotten very specific now. So anyway, it's a healing retreat for mothers and their children.
Mm.
And then adjacent to that is the animal sanctuary. Because I'm a big advocate for animal therapy.
Okay.
And so, like having emotional support through being around animals and
Mm-hmm.
caring for animals. And so what we want to do is have the animal sanctuary and have the children and the moms who are part of our healing retreat participate in working with those animals.
Mm.
And then and my daughter she woke up one morning. It was so great. She's like, I know how we're going to do this.
Oh.
And she kind of, she, and the visual was so clear. So having, the beds for the kids, right? And at the base of each bed is the little, like, whether it's a dog or a bunny or a cat or whatever the animal may be, but having their little home, their little bed right there, and that each kid is assigned to one of the animals. And
Mm.
so we first help to heal the animals in the animal sanctuary, and then they graduate to becoming companions to the kids at the retreat. And it's
Okay.
really, and so that's kind of how it comes full circle.
Yeah.
But I also am looking at, I'm very big on regenerative agriculture. So having the animal sanctuary on land that allows for regenerative agriculture to occur as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, and so it's a whole thing. Um, a- and it's gonna take the form it needs to take.
Mhm.
But that's kind of the big picture
Okay.
vision for it. In the healing retreat, there will be biohacking treatments, things like red light therapy and hyperbaric oxygen and injection therapy and peptides and hormone balancing, glutathione, as well as connecting moms and their kids back to nature. And really the idea is to empower these moms to get back on their feet,
Mm.
and be an inspiration for their children. And if you just give them the right tools to be in their best shape possible, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, etc., they'll go out there and they'll be the leaders that they were designed to be, and they will raise children who will also be leaders.
Yeah.
But I wanted to really integrate it with animals and
Mhm.
having a real connection with the care of animals and helping them to heal, and then seeing how those animals will help to heal them as well.
Mhm. Oh, that's really beautiful, and I think there is something so magical about caring for an animal, and it really can heal you in ways that you wouldn't even expect and could never pay them back for, you
Oh
know?
gosh. Oh, we got my daughter a horse for her
Mm.
11th birthday, and his name's Ken. And I had him, and it's been the best thing ever for our family. Like, absolutely the best. This horse gives so much to us all,
Mhm.
and we love him. But I had his mane tested for nutrient deficiencies.
Oh,
So I have
interesting.
him on all of these different, I have this whole concoction, and he takes Best Daily Ever, my glutathione product, every day. But he was deficient in a ton of different things. He was abused.
Yeah.
And so he has this hyper reactive stress response.
Mhm.
And like, he's just now realizing more and more that he's safe,
Yeah.
and that he's now, he can relax. He doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to do anything. He's just going to be loved and
Mhm.
cared for. But it's, he has that PTSD from being overworked, and that poor guy, I don't think he came into the world being able to handle that type of stress, but he was
Yeah.
pushed into that world and all of that. And
Mhm.
so he is like a changed horse now. A
Aw.
year later, everybody at the barn is like, "What are you giving Ken again?" And then our my daughter's trainer, because she takes lessons, and she's actually going to be in a show this weekend, which is a big deal. But Dana, she said, "Gina, if I come back as a horse in my next life, I want to be your horse." But it comes from that place, and so I'm learning, about how to really care for a large animal. We have
Mhm.
dogs, and I've always had like small animals, but it's there's just that genuine care and love for animals, and realizing how
Mhm.
much they give, and how, even with horses, they don't need to work. Like, they
Mhm.
don't need to be ridden and all. I mean, what's wrong with a horse just living on a pasture, enjoying their life? That's also wonderful and okay,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
so, and a lot of horses are abused.
For sure, yeah,
Mhm.
and even through things like being involved in shows even,
Oh gosh,
right?
yes. That's
Yeah.
like, I mean, and even my daughter, she rides a pony, and she's in a place where these horses are adored.
Mm.
It's kind of a very sheltered little place. But even then I'm like, "Are you sure? Isn't?" like, isn't the horse tired? Why don't we give her a break? And my daughter Gabby would be like, Mom, she's fine. I'm like, are you sure? Like, can we take the bit out of her mouth now? Like,
Yeah,
enough.
that's my
So
thought too. Yeah.
that's where I come from.
Right. And
Um,
going back to what you said before is like we can't force other people to see it the way we do. Um, yeah. It's life is so interesting. And yeah.
I
So,
think it's about just embodying who you are and what you believe
mhm,
in, like just
right.
working on embodying that and living it to the best of your ability every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
You're taking care of yourself.
Right. Yeah. If we don't take care of
Mhm.
ourselves, how can we help take care of the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Dr. Gina, this has been amazing, but I do have one more question for you.
Yes.
Tell me, how does hummus show up in your life?
So, being raised by a mom who is from the Middle East,
Hmm.
it showed up a lot. I was the one always assigned to making the tahina.
Okay.
So I mastered tahina, which is, you add that to the garbanzo beans, becomes hummus, right? But I
Hmm.
personally like tahina even better than hummus.
Mm,
But so I was raised just eating that all the time.
yeah.
Um, and then we would use a spice called doa.
Mm,
It's an Egyptian blend of like cumin and coriander and some pepper.
okay.
And it's just this really, and so that doesn't go in the hummus, but it will be used like in a sandwich with the hummus.
Ah, okay.
Um, but yeah, I have, and my recipe for tahina was super simple. It was just fresh lemon juice, a lot of it,
Hmm.
fresh garlic, sea salt, and then we would have organic sesame seed paste.
Hmm.
That was a little bit of pepper, and that was it. But I had like mastered the ratios,
Oh, yeah, that sounds
and so
amazing.
and I loved it.
It's so
So
good.
that's how it comes. That's how it shows up in my life. And my daughter, after she was done breastfeeding, one of her first foods was a sesame seed based
Oh, wow.
little mush that I would
Yeah.
make for her. But she got introduced to one of the main components in hummus, you know, very early on. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Lucky girl.
yeah, yes, I agree.
Yeah. I didn't try hummus till I was in my 20s, so
Yeah,
I'm a little jealous that she right from the
right.
start.
I mean, like for immune function, it's amazing. It is
Yeah.
so good for you.
All
So
that lemon,
the
right?
lemon, but the sesame seeds too.
Oh, yeah?
Sesame seed oil is anti-inflammatory and supports immune function.
Oh,
Mhm.
I love sesame oil. I
They're
use it
really good for you.
every chance I can. I'll
Yeah.
put a little bit in. Yeah. Okay, good. Yay. Yay me, without even knowing.
Yes. Good job. Yeah. So all this promotion of hummus, like you're like really
Yeah.
helping people to support their immune system.
Yeah, that's so cool. Oh, I'm so glad to know that. I'm gonna start working that in. Like, hey, look at how healthy I'm helping you be.
No, really, like look up
Yeah.
the properties of sesame seeds, sesame seed oil, seed paste. It's pretty significant. So
Awesome. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll link some things in the show notes so people can read all about it.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dr. Gina, this was amazing. Thank you so much. I've learned so much,
good.
and I just really enjoyed being here in your company.
Good. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Kimberly.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome back. Are you heading off to Dr. Gina's website to pick up your own box of Best Daily Ever Pixie Sticks? To connect with Dr. Gina, visit her website, bestdailyever.com. Follow her on Instagram at bestdailyever and Dr. Gina Nick, on Facebook at Best Daily Ever and Dr. Gina Healing, and on Twitter at Best Daily Ever and Dr. Gina Nick. I hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring. Please subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're loving it, please give Did You Bring the Hummus a 5-star rating and leave a review. It's an easy way to keep supporting the show. Be sure to share these episodes with your friends. If you're finding something good here, they will too. If you're a vegan or know a vegan who would be a great fit for the podcast, follow the Be a Guest link in the show notes. Fill out the quiz and I'll be in touch. Get on my mailing list and stay up to date on all things Did You Bring the Hummus? Check out the Support the Podcast tab on my website for more info on how you can support the show as a monthly contributor or by sponsoring episodes. Sign up for my group meditation sessions, only $11 per session, or save a few dollars by signing up for the subscription or package option. Get more info via the link in the show notes. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Did You Bring the Hummus, and visit my website, didyouBringTheHummus.com, for more information about me, updates on what I'm working on, new podcast episodes, and all things vegan. Finally, I would love to hear from you. What do you need help with? Is there a topic you want to hear covered on a future episode? DM me on Instagram or send me an email at info@didyouBringTheHummus.com. Thanks for listening.